Welcome, friends, gamers, and other enthusiasts to the BoydofZINJ channel. I hope you enjoy your time here and the video. Please like, subscribe, do all the bell icons, and comment. It really does help small content creators like myself and others by doing so. If you click on the notifications, it may even let others and the YouTube gods know that they may enjoy these videos. With that being said, let's play. Mechabellum. All right. I decided to play some additional matches. I lost the last two, but I like the game. And again, this game does frustrate me from time to time, and I see that there's a tournament. It's kind of late, but I may enter it. The reason why this game frustrates me is I know it's a simple game, but it's easy to understand, not too hard to figure out, but hard to master, I guess. All right, so I'm going to play multiplayer, 1 versus 1. I don't like the 2 versus 2 because you can do everything right, and then if your partner just whiffs on you, you're facing two foes. This person has a lower MMR, so we should technically win. But a few points here and there doesn't really matter. Now, what's important is what card you pick. Elite is a really good choice because it's a high number, and after a while, if you can get more level 2 units out there, you're saving more money overall, and you're more powerful. But early on, that's the problem. If they run away with the economy, you could be screwed. Okay, and always whenever you start a match, just look briefly at what the other person is. I always like starting my stormcrawlers, my artillery units, in the middle and near the towers. So that way they're both guarding the towers and they have opportunities to attack the entire field, or most of the field. Now, I'm really lacking some type of fodder unit. But I'm also thinking, should I go marksman? Because I do have good clearing for fangs with both the arc light and the artillery unit, the stormcrawlers. But if he goes crawlers, if the other person goes crawlers, arc lights do wonderful against them, but they run away with me, it could be trouble. So I'm looking at the other person's units to decide, what do I want to use? This is me for the future. I'm recording this, the voiceover after the fact. So I decide I want fodder units. Now, because I'm level 2, I can only basically without some type of borrowing money. So that's why I went with the fodder units, because a single marksman wouldn't be useful. Because I'm an elite specialist, I should say. But because I don't have that extra unit, I can suffer. Luckily for me, my artillery units aren't exactly drunk. Sometimes when they can fire weird and they can miss entire targets from barrage. And then other times they're marksmen and they hit everything, right? So they're actually marksmen and I actually win. Now look at the point difference. Because I picked someone with a lot of points, I expected to lose at least a match or two. I won the first match, which is blind luck half the time. Now, second round, I like to skip, especially when I'm elite, or pick something real cheap. In this case, I skip because, again, Early on with the elite specialist, gain level 2 units, you're behind on the economy. So I decided, because this person has a lot of fodder units, I decided to go another arc light. Now I could pick something other than arc light, because I still need more fodder, and having some marksmen is not a bad idea either. But again, I'm kind of behind in the economy and the unit number, so I'm deciding. And again, having fodder units, as some type of buffer is very useful. I'm deciding where I want to put the missile, and I put it right up the middle. What's dangerous is if the person flanked, I had no counter. But I also had a feeling that this person might have put some units in the middle to do the crawler dance, to distract my storm crawlers, which I was right. Now, in retrospect, if the person flanked, I would have lost this match. I may still lose this match. Again, my artillery units, they can be either really amazing or just. And look at that, a single crawler could make the big difference. My unit is running away from it because the artilleries have minimum range to fire. And crawler is so small and so fast that artillery missile barrages miss a ton. But luckily for me, the tower has a lot of HP. So I was able to home in and take a small win. Again, I was expecting to lose the first two or three matches. So just taking a small win here and there is better than nothing. And because the other person took lower overall numbers, that person's behind the 8 ball. I go for the smoke screen because this person has a lot of marksmen, and I want the marksmen to come to me. I upgrade the crawlers. I suspect that this is going to be a ranged battle. Now I'm thinking to myself that I may get flanked. I need to do something to get flanked, to prevent me from getting flanked. But I also want to flank the other person to draw attention away from my units. However, I also need some type of range, so I go with a marksman instead. Again, in retrospect, if the other person would have flanked me at this level, it would have changed the outcome of the game. And I'm even nervous. And look, that person is flanking me from both sides. Again, that person was flanking me from both sides, and I'm paying for it. It's like that marksman I got is now pointless because facing, a unit of crawlers and it can only kill one is a terrible idea. And artillery fighting crawlers is terrible. But somehow it works. Again, those storm crawlers can be very drunk sometimes when they hit, and sometimes amazing. Stuff that should not be hitting hits, other times it doesn't. Now I'm debating between Acid Blast and Shield Device Specialist. Shield Device Specialist is very useful when putting up shields. It makes them very powerful. I need to take care of something, with these extra units. And having Mustangs, well, one, kill them. Two, it would also, they're fast, so once the Mustangs kill the flank units, they can recover and help me out. So I go for Mustangs. And I'm a shield specialist. I just, increase the strength of the shields. Why not? I decided to spend the midnight oil and get some extra money now, which means next round I'm going to be down 100 credits. and the enemies, increasing the number of flanks. So I'm going to address that soon. Luckily for me, my arc lights I positioned on my flanks I also gave them the range upgrade, so they were able to help me out, which makes a difference. Especially since everything I'm facing is ground units. Now this person is behind the 8 ball, hasn't won yet, and even though they're flanking me and it's causing me trouble, I've been getting lucky as well. And that's the problem with this game. You can have the best laid plans, but sometimes RNG, luck, comes into it. Those storm crawlers, the way how they hit, made a huge difference. I decided to do something a little cheeky myself. I decided it's time for me to flank. And why not flank with a unit? I see that as of right now, this person has no way to combat this one unit. A fortress, even without shields, so it's going to catch this person off guard. And there's so low points that catching them off guard, this could seal the deal and win the game for me. It's a risky maneuver because the fortress takes time to phase in. And I didn't gain anything to increase the phase-in time of a flank. So that unit's going to be stuck being hit by multiple units multiple times. So if that person got smart and put something on that flank to take care of big units like I don't know, a melting point or balls, I'll be toast. But the person shows no inclination of putting melty balls or balls, and why would put it in a weird flanking position for no reason? And even though the fortress is phasing in, it still has a lot of hit points and armor, and it's taking a ton away from attacking me, which is a good thing. That they deal with the flanks. My fortress was able to tank half of his left side forces, which leads me to attack his tower at a bad time, sealing me the victory. In retrospect, if the person flanked one turn sooner, might have made a difference. If the person flanked with aerial units, might have made a slightly different difference. If the person only flanked one side and reinforced his front side a bit more, might have made a difference. I won, but I'm always looking or thinking to myself, how could I do better? How could the other person have done better if I was in that person's situation? Okay, this next match, person's pending, hasn't played very many academies, so I think this is Smurf. I don't even know if people can reset their accounts, but this looks like a person who already knows how to play and is resetting their account. Because of that, I don't want to go elite. This person is probably going to try and beat me with economy if I go elite. Again, elite is troublesome because the first few matches you're behind the 8 ball in the economy, and that person's going to have more. The enemy's going to tend to have more units, especially on round 1. So I decided to go with something that's going to help me, not necessarily with economy, but overall. And extra armor, that means all my units are going to be a little tougher. And previously, if you remember, having extra armor means that arc lights can survive more than 2 shots from the same level marksman, which is useful. I decided to go for Fangs. And I already have marksmen and I have Mustangs, and I put the Mustangs on flanking positions. So that way, if I get flanked, the Mustang should take care of anything except something very large. The marksmen's, again, are good units, but they need to be supported. So I decided to go with some type of fodder units. Fangs. Not the best, but also not bad either. Fangs can be very powerful in certain situations. And I've seen some people out there with videos where they go mostly fangs and clear up the game. That's not me. Now, this person immediately grabs a Vulcan, which means my fangs are toast. Quite literally. Luckily for me, I do have 3 marksmen. Unluckily for me, the marksmen are not, all 3 of them are not going after the Vulcan. And this person also has air units, which is double trouble. I basically, fangs are pretty much out of the game. The marksmen are now out of the game, so this person pretty much has to win. But I still have Mustangs, right? So I could still win, but let's face it, a Vulcan is going to carry the game in this situation. Sure enough, that's what's happening. Even weekend, the Vulcan's no match, or Mustangs are no match for the Vulcan. A Vulcan is a great counter to Mustangs and Fangs, which was more than half my fields. This is a hard choice for me. Shields are very important. Supply specialist is very important. The weakness that Vulcans have is against shields. That flame is terrible against shields. It does average damage, low, constant damage to a shield, but it's low damage. It's not like a melting points laser where it starts ramping up. Because this is also a stronger shield, this should mean that this Vulcan is going to have a harder time. Having that extra 50 credits would be useful, but having shields, I think, is going to be a much better situation. I decided to try and get rid of. I want to focus on the Vulcan, and that's why I put that missile to the side, so I can clear off the fodder and concentrate more on the Vulcan. And sure enough, my marksmen are now attacking the Vulcan, and because I have that shield, it protects my units overall, and I was able to clear out the Vulcan. So now this should be a mop-up. Again, in retrospect, if the person would have flanked, I would have been toast. But I didn't get flanked. I did lose the shield, but I did keep 1, so that's like free money. Now I'm debating, what do I want to do? Heavy Mustangs is terrible, but that core would be nice. Or extra money. I go for the extra money. I know now that having shields up is going to be useful, so that means that 100 credits, which is why I used that skipped, because I need the extra money. So now I'm only technically down 50 credits for the shield. I grab my own crawlers. I'm debating whether or not I want to flank with them or not. And I started looking at the positions and see what would happen. I'm also working from home, so if you hear some background noises, that's what's probably happening. So I decided to flank. And since the idea of these crawlers is to try and get into the tower as fast as possible, I don't mind if a marksman turns around and attacks them, because they're only going to kill 1 out of like 20 units and take them forever. So get to the tower in and out fast is preferable. And then depending on how this person counters, I can counter that person possibly as well. Okay, so my crawlers got to the tower. The left side shield broke, but because the tower got destroyed, that Vulcan got impotent. And even though crawlers have no defenses against air units, 2 Phoenixes take forever to kill a bunch of crawlers. So I tied up that air unit significantly. All 4 of these could be useful. I could also skip for money. I'm really debating about Acid Blast, which I decided to get. Now, I'm spending money on shields, but I'm kind of forced to. The disadvantage about this person, too, is this person, it put his Vulcan so far forward that it's pretty much guaranteed that you can't support the Vulcan. So now, I decide to play Steel Balls. Steel Balls do damage like very similar to Melting Points. And I decide to flank with one of the Steel Balls. Try and take care of I'm sorry about that. Try and take care of the tower as soon as possible. Was this a mistake? I don't know. You know, maybe an extra Steel Ball in the middle to deal with the Vulcan might have been useful. Now this person puts a missile in the middle, but again, having that shield stop the missile. This person also grabbed an extra fortress in the middle. But my Steel Balls take care of the Vulcan as expected, and the fortress goes down. Again, headbutting, putting units so far forward can be very useful, but it could also be a detriment. And I really think it was a detriment in this situation. This person had no way of putting fodder units in front of their big units. I'm thinking either Elite Fangs, Senior Attack Specialist, all these are useful. And I get shields back. Since my left side shield survived, I decided to reinforce the right side. Again, headbutting can be really useful, but because you can't support those big giant units with fodder units, it's giving them a disadvantage and giving me the chance to put an initiative. I recognize that there are multiple giant units, so I decide, again, Steel Balls is the way to go. And since I know that this person has no fodder units put in front of them, I can put the Steel Balls pretty much up close up front to take care of the giant units. Same thing with marksmen. I'm putting this marksman up forward so that way they're attacking the units as soon as possible. The marksman up forward, attacking them as soon as possible is useful. I would have possibly lost the game if the person had more fodder units in front of, or to get in front of the giant units. Even putting in crawlers behind the giant units would have made a difference. My Steel Balls, after destroying the shields, would have gone after the crawlers instead of the giant units. There you have it. 2 losses, 2 victories. This is bonus matches for today. I will probably be playing in the tournament. I hope y'all have fun. Please, give me any comments on stuff I can improve. I'm still trying to learn, and I really do need the help from time to time. But again, just looking back at the battlefield, if this person had pushed the giant units backwards, and was able to put units in front to support the giant units, would have made a huge difference. Or even like crawlers right behind them who overtake the giant units immediately and provide some type of buffer. That's sometimes those small units That's all they're good for, and will make a huge difference, making the large units more effective. But there you go. Please like, subscribe. Give me comments on what I could be doing better. I'm still learning, and as you'll see, I'm getting frustrated with the game slightly. But thank you.